Hey there, my name is Jordan. I'm here to share with you a few practice strategies that I use myself and that I use to teach a lot of my private students. There's actually going to be two different kind of practice techniques and I'll talk through those, and then I've actually got a video of a student of mine, an actual lesson, using these practice techniques in class and using it with Tunefox, with the Tunefox player in the backing tracks. And then there's another video I'm going to share later too, showing his progress just a few weeks later. These practice techniques are shown kind of at the beginner and late beginner level, and they're excellent for that. They're excellent for anyone who struggles with their timing, but they can be used for any player at any skill level and on any instrument. If you're more of an intermediate or an advanced player and you're struggling with a tough passage, struggling to play with some clarity, with accurate timing with either the fretting or the picking hand, this can be an exercise that you might turn to that could definitely give you some extra help. All right, so the first kind of concept here for this practice strategy, I'm calling it shadow playing. I've heard of shadow bowing on the violin, and this is kind of the same thing, except you end up doing it with both hands, with both your fretting hand and with your picking hand. What this boils down to is basically we're going to be moving our body and our fingers in time with the music or the metronome, but not actually playing, not actually making a sound. So it's all about getting our body to move in time while still fully engaging our ears and listening. You know, a lot of the times, especially beginners, when playing, will play so loud or will be so focused on the sound of what's coming from their instrument that they're no longer listening to what they're playing along with. That kind of disengages. But doing this kind of shadow playing will allow us to get that physical movement but still hear what we're playing along with, and should help us in that process of adjusting kind of our speed and our movements while listening and while we're playing and moving. All right, so first I'm going to talk about how you would apply this to the fretting hand. And I've got a guitar here, but obviously if you're playing a fretted instrument, kind of the motions and the concept is going to be the same whether it's a banjo, mandolin, or a guitar. The thing is here, like I said, we can do this with a metronome or when we're listening to music, or especially you'll see it's really effective and good when playing along with the Tunefox player. But the idea here is to really move our fingers precisely in time, both in when you press down and also when you lift. That's going to be the thing that really helps get your fret hand moving in time and in shape. A lot of players do not think about when they lift fingers, so this is just going to help you get to a new level of timing with your fret hand. And at first you might need to work on foundations. You know, it might not be that we're doing this concept when playing along with a song. So I'm going to set a metronome here at 60 to show you how we can do some just kind of foundational movement exercises to get our fingers moving in time. All right, so I've got it set at 60 BPM, and literally it wouldn't even matter the fret, right? It's just about press down, lift, press down, lift, and do that with the different fingers. And this would just be a simple workout to start moving your fret hand in time. Right, and you can do this with scales. That's a really good way to get kind of familiar with any new scales. And you could also do this with chord changes like press, release, press, release, and that's a really good way to get your fingers and muscles moving on new chords and get used to chord changes as well. As I said, later we'll see how this is demonstrated, like playing along with a song and with a piece of song in Tunefox, and you'll see some really cool application and results from it. All right, but let's say you're just trying to develop your fret hand timing for a song that you're working on. I would suggest that first maybe you work on a measure at a time, but I want to just demonstrate slowly kind of what that would look like. So let's take, for example, here like some Blackberry Blossom up the neck. All right, I'm going to set that metronome at 60, then just get going with my fret hand here. All right, nod my head, listen a little bit, and start in. right? And we could keep going there. One thing I noticed about that is that while it is helping me like accurately press down at the right time, because it's going so fast, I'm not able to be as conscious about when I lift. And I think that's a really powerful part of developing the timing in your fret hand. And another reason why you should go super slow and work in smaller pieces before you just jump in and start doing this with an entire song. Right, so obviously if we can do this with our fretting hand, we can do it with the pick hand. And all you're going to do here is just be moving the pick in time, but we're going to try to keep the range of motion appropriate to whatever it is you might be playing, so that your pick is going over whatever string you might be playing when we're shadow playing, and not being too wide of a range of motion. And again, just you might need to do some foundational stuff. So we may just set this metronome at 60 and just go down and up very accurately in time at first before trying to apply this shadow playing to an actual song or a measure of a song. It seems really basic, it's for beginners, but as I said, it's also for more intermediate and advanced players. We've just got to apply this idea sometimes in a slightly different way. And this is a concept that you can do anywhere. You don't have to be in your practice room. You can be walking through Kohl's and kind of be air strumming, but try to be strumming accurately in time. And just how we could air strum, we could also kind of air roll, right? A lot of the times I'll be sitting around riding in the car somewhere, and I'll like get my plant with my pinky, my ring on my stomach or on my pants, and I'll be practicing my rolls, right? But I'm trying to practice it in time with what I'm hearing. And it's practice, we're exercising and getting our bodies to move in time and our fingers and our hands to move in time with the music that we're hearing. I like to think of it like we're dancing with our hands, right? And the more we do this, the more we're building up our muscles in our hand and our muscle memory. So it's a really good form of practice. Something else that's interesting, I heard at a mandolin camp this one time. I heard it from Dominic Leslie, and he talked about how when he was in high school, he would actually kind of pretend like his forearm was a fretboard and practice fretting and work out kind of fingerings in his head, right? But while playing on his forearm. So we could take that same approach and really try to be accurate with our timing of when we press down the fingers and when we lift fingers as well. And you could do chord shapes and all kinds of stuff. Now it's going to be best to kind of isolate the fret hand by itself. One run through, one or several run throughs through a measure or through a song. Then next do it with the pick hand, and then try to combine them. Now, banjo pickers, I'm going to suggest that you do something with your pick hand here if you're practicing like a roll or something, and that's kind of reset your pick fingers. Before doing this, you may need to do some more foundational stuff, as I talked about with the guitar, like maybe just moving one finger of your pick hand in time as you're playing with a metronome. Like I set it at 60 and pick, but you can see I'm bouncing it back and resetting it. And that's what I would suggest you do if you're working on a roll. Right, so I was imagining doing a forward, backward roll right there and resetting my fingers and kind of, having it each finger over whatever string I was imagining playing. But that pick reset is really important for speed. That's a tip that I got from Ron Block. So that pretty much covers that shadow playing concept. The other one that I will show you in this student lesson video, I call it the hot potato method. This is just something that I do in class a lot when we're working on almost anything, a phrase, a scale, any kind of new playing thing. What I will do is I will play the measure once or twice, and then it's time to pass the hot potato. Right? I pass it along to the student and they play it back twice to me, and we pass it back and forth like this. But the goal is to keep completely steady time and have no pauses in between. right? So let's say that I'm doing a hot potato with a student and we're playing the first phrase of Cripple Creek. I'll play it twice. Then switch, da 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 da, and now it's my turn. Then switch, okay? So this is just another practice strategy that really helps enforce listening and steady timing. And you'll see in the video while we're doing this hot potato method, whenever the student is listening to the Tunefox player and not actually playing, they're using that shadow playing practice strategy. This is something you should do with tough measures, or if you see a measure in a song that repeats multiple times, or if you hear it, you know, if you're learning by ear, kind of focusing on the tough spots and repeating spots that happen a lot. And ideally, when we're practicing along with a backing track or a metronome, we either need a loudspeaker, you know, that's built in maybe to the metronome, like this Seiko metronome I have, or maybe you use a Bluetooth speaker that's connected to your phone or computer speaker system, whatever. But it needs to be louder than however loud you are on your guitar usually, or your banjo, so that it's easy to hear. All right, that covers the hot potato concept. And as I said, we're going to show this in action using Tunefox. Those realistic backing tracks and the focus feature really can help you kind of hear well and practice good and steady timing. And we're about to see that in action with one of my guitar students here. All right, so here we are working on some Tunefox. Me, Jordan, and Mr. B over here. We're going to work on some Shady Grove. We're doing a measure at a time at 60 beats per minute. We're going to do the shadow picking thing, okay? So we're going to listen for 2 measures, and we're going to kind of shadow pick, just pick in the air, and then put our fret hand down also in time with what we're hearing. That way we're working on the timing of both hands while really listening a lot. Now we've already done this where we've isolated it, right? Where we've done just the left hand, working on the fret hand timing, and just the pick hand. But once you're able to do both of those, we're going to put it together. So we'll listen for 2 measures, then play for 2 measures. It's a hot potato exercise. All right, here we go. All right, so shadow pick, fret hand. Shadow pick in left hand, remember? There you go. Yeah. Shadow pick and left hand. There. Good job. All right, so that's just a really good exercise that helps you get your timing down, make sure that you're listening, and if you're learning a new tune, we can learn a measure at a time like that, and then it'll be a lot easier when we put it all together and a lot less overwhelming. Divide and conquer. Okay, here we go. We're going to do this exercise again with measure 2 of Shady Grove. At first, we're going to kind of shadow fret and just use our fret hand to fret down the right notes in time, and it's going to help us learn the timing of our fret hand. Then we're going to do it with our pick hand, just shadow picking in the air, and then we'll put them together and then we'll play it. This really helps get the timing of the fret hand down. A lot of people don't even think about the timing of the fret hand, but it's important to really nail that as well. All right, let's do it with the pick hand. Yeah, this really helps us listen, but get the right feeling in our body, get that kinesthetic feeling. Okay, now let's play. wait and listen. Good. Good job. Okay. Good job, and that is a great way to practice. Thank you, Mr. B. All right, now here's another video of him playing through Shady Grove. Just a few weeks later, we hadn't even met in person. He just kind of kept up with this practice method of using the focus feature and the shadow playing and hot potato method for a few weeks on individual measures. And the video speaks for itself. He got his timing down and has the whole song memorized.
Nice job, man. Yeah.
Too cool. All right, so some things that I noticed about this. Playing along with the Tunefox player, it really helped him get down his steady timing, right? A lot of the times when you're learning from tablature, you're only working from sight. But when you have the Tunefox player, you've got realistic backing tracks that you can play along with for the whole song, or when we're using the focus feature for these individual pieces. So it really helps you start to memorize how the song is supposed to sound. Right, and that's what has happened here. He's memorized the sound of it. He's now able to play it in time and doesn't need to play along with the Tunefox player or me as a guide. He was able to kick it off with his potatoes and play through it a few times. But still, you know, some further practice with these methods and with the Tunefox player would help him just refine and polish his playing and get his timing to an even more precise level. One of the things I love about the Tunefox backing tracks is their realism. The sounds for the lead instruments that you were hearing were recorded from an actual instrument, you know. And there was like 3 different takes of kind of each fretted note on each instrument. And there's a really cool algorithm that Yeri, one of the founders for Tunefox, uses to program these backing tracks, so that you're really never hearing your backing track played the same way twice. Just as, you know, we as humans can never completely duplicate something exactly, there's a human element to these backing tracks because of the way in which they were programmed. So it really sounds realistic and is a little bit different every time. Not in that the timing is any different, but just in that it doesn't end up getting that robotic kind of repetitive sound. Something else that I noticed about using these practice techniques with my student, it really helped him internalize and memorize the way the sound of the lead relates to the sound of the band, the rhythm guitar, the bass, and the mandolin chop. When we came back after that first practice session and it was just me and him jamming, and he kicked off his potatoes and I came in with the rhythm and we played through it, when we got to the end, he said, "Hey, that sounds like Tunefox." And I just thought that was so cool. It just shows that the backing tracks that we have are very realistic, and it just sounds like you're jamming with someone else or like you're playing in a jam. All right, so your next steps. Let's say you've worked on all the tough individual measures and all the repeating individual measures in a song. Once you start playing the whole song, use this kind of shadow playing and hot potato method with an entire song and practice it repeatedly. It will really help you memorize the way the song sounds, and obviously is going to help you build up some good muscle memory with your playing as well. And if you're playing with Tunefox, once you really start to get it memorized, use that hide notes feature to really put your memory to the test. All right, that about wraps it up for this shadow playing, hot potato, practice strategy education session. I hope you guys use this. I hope it helps, and I'd love to hear from you all personally about what your kind of results and what your experience is with using these practice techniques. So please feel free to email in to Tunefox. All right, I hope you all enjoyed that and I hope it helps. Keep picking and stay tuned.